Guys, welcome along to a brand new video here on Here's Roddy's Reviews. I'm your host, Rodney Stewart. We're getting into He-Man and the Masters of the Universe again. We're going to be doubling and tripling up on the uploads on this channel. I want to get through this box set before Revelation, Masters of the Universe Revelation is released. We're getting stupidly close now. There's a heck of a lot of these to get through, so I'm going to be uploading as often and as I can. You're probably going to get fed up listening to me, but it is what it is. So this episode is called Ordeal in the Badlands, and the synopsis on the box here, I like to go through this first because some of these here are accurate, but at the same time they're a little off. Some guy somewhere had one job, and his job was to write the little pieces on the back of the covers here to let you know what was going on in the episode, and some of them are fairly accurate, some of them are not. So let's see what this one says. With Skeletor away, Evelyn and Triclops plan an attempt to defeat He-Man themselves by using Kor, one of Eternia's most powerful sorcerers. With the capture of Teela and Kor's daughter, Evelyn's villainous manipulations will put Kor against He-Man, leading the heroic warriors to the most dramatic measures. That's fairly vague. It's close, but it's fairly vague. In this episode, as it said there, Skeletor isn't to be seen. All you see of him is his little ship leaving Snake Mountain at the beginning of the episode, and Evelyn decides, okay, he's gone, I'm going to take over Eternia before he gets back. And her and Triclops head off and find Kor's daughter and basically kidnap her, and then she goes to the sorcerer and shows him a fake image in her magical crystal ball, sort of a deal. And the fake image is exactly what her and Triclops did to the daughter, but instead of them two, it's actually He-Man and Man-at-Arms that captured the daughter. But it's all fabricated. None of it's true, but it's just to set this sorcerer on He-Man's tail. He is the guardian of the Crimson Scourge, who we get to meet later in the episode. We find out that this thing known as the Crimson Scourge ravaged Eternia way back in history, and every generation there's a sorcerer that's tasked with keeping this beast under control and in a prison. So on the good guy side of things, Teela is training a little bit like Star Wars, Luke Skywalker with the lightsaber, fighting the little drone thing in the Millennium Falcon and A New Hope. That sort of a deal. She's fighting against this robotic drone, and sharpening up her skills as head of the palace guard. But she's thinking to herself, I would like to see if my skills would survive a couple of days in the Darklands. And Orko's there, and she's running this idea past him, and he's like, don't be crazy, it's far too dangerous to go there. And she says, there's an underground river below the palace, leads right to the Darklands. I could follow that, take a few days, sharpen up my skills, see how I get on. But Man-at-Arms hears this, and he pops up, and he's like, don't, wise up, you're not going to the Badlands, it's far too dangerous, I don't want you to do this here, just stop it. And Teela kind of goes off on one. She's fed up with people telling her what she can and she cannot do, so later on she decides, stuff it, I'm going to go to the Badlands. So off she goes. Orko follows her, and she's captured by these lizard men who work for Kor, the sorcerer, I should say. And she is taken to him, and she explains, I'm only here to test my skills, nothing more than that. But one of the guards, the sorcerer is about to let her go, but one of his guards said there's another person with her being Orko, and he ran off to get He-Man to come and help her. So when he hears this, he's like, keep her here, I'm going to be ready for He-Man when he turns up. So, in due course, Orko tells Man-at-Arms and Prince Adam what's happened. Prince Adam pulls the sword, of course, by the power of Grayskull. He-Man appears, off they go and try to find her. And it doesn't take long, they get captured by the same guards that Teela was caught with. He-Man could easily fight them off, but he's like, you know what, we're not going to have to go and find her. These guys are going to take us to her. And off they go to the palace. He-Man is confronted by the sorcerer. He's just that angry. He's not listening to reason. You kidnapped my daughter. And He-Man decides, okay, if we can't talk this out, we're going to have to work out another way of dealing with it. And they break out of the magical barrier that's holding them, and they start fighting the guards to try and get away. But the sorcerer uses his magic to bring He-Man's own shadow to life. So he's battling his own shadow for a stage in this episode. And during the mayhem, Teela escapes, but the sorcerer doesn't consider her a threat. He said earlier on in the episode she reminds him of his own daughter. So, as far as he's concerned, she's safe. He lets her go and uses his powers on He-Man. When He-Man breaks the magical orb that he's using to control the shadow, and He-Man busts it, and the sorcerer says, okay, if that's not going to work on you, I know something that will. And he casts a spell that transports He-Man into the prison lair of the Crimson Scourge. And this beast is, it's pretty much like a big dog made of fire, essentially. And He-Man is trapped in there with this thing, and he's trying to escape getting burned alive, and he's breaking down the wall trying to get out, but the wall is so thick that he pretty much spends the better part of the episode at this point trying to break out of this cell. And outside, Man-at-Arms is still trying to talk sense into the sorcerer. He's not listening. So Evelyn, thinking that she's won, she has the daughter at the Snake Mountain, and Teela decides to test her skills by going to save the daughter at Snake Mountain. So she penetrates Snake Mountain, gets past Triclops, saves the daughter, barely gets away with the daughter, and manages to get back to the sorcerer. And the daughter tells him, okay, here, look, it was Evelyn that kidnapped me. These guys are completely innocent. And he's, overcome with guilt at this point. No, we're going to have to get He-Man out of here before he gets killed by this thing. But just at that point, He-Man manages to actually escape, busts out through the wall, legs it, and the Crimson Scourge falls him out. So this thing has been released again after it ravaging Eternia back in the day. It's got a chance to go for it again, and He-Man fights this thing at the end, and we get the call back to the underground river that leads from the palace to the Darklands, and he busts through the ground, and this jet of water shoots up in the sky, and he uses it to pretty much extinguish the beastie, and everybody lives happily ever after at the end of the episode. There's a wee chat at the end about anger issues, but with the sorcerer, he was that angry he wasn't listening, just like Teela, who was that angry that she couldn't do what she wanted to do, and she went off and won just out of her own pure rage, basically, at the end of the day. And everybody hugs, has a nice little moment, and then we get the PSA at the end of the episode. It's my favourite part of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, is this little piece at the end of each episode where they break the fourth wall. Is it break the fourth wall or break the third wall? I think it's the fourth wall. I need to look that up. But a character talks to the viewer at the end of the episode. If you don't get the People are stupid. And if you don't get the point of the episode, these guys just pop up and tell you exactly what the point of the episode was, the lesson you're supposed to learn. And in this one, it was Tia saying I get into a rough situation today out of me own anger and, you know, wanting to do something when I was told I couldn't do it, sort of a thing. And Man at Arms pops up and he's like, you know what, as a parent, from time to time we tell our children that they can't do something for their own safety, but even though we're telling them they can't do something, sometimes it really hurts us to not let them do what they want to do. So just remember that the next time your mother or father tells you that you can't do something. So it's a good lesson for kids to learn. That's the thing, and I'm pretty sure I say this in most of the reviews of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. The morals that we learned as children from this show alone were flipping fantastic. You know, the generation that come up in the 80s watching this stuff are some great people, and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe has a heck of a lot to do with that, I think. But yes, brilliant, fantastic episode. So we're going to be doing, excuse the noise outside the office, I need to get the heck out of here, get set up in a studio somewhere where there's no traffic sounds, literally going right past the window to the side of me here. But yes, we're going to be bouncing back into Transformers Generation 2, as well as more He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be going flipping hardcore with this stuff. I'm loving it, and looking forward to Revelation. So goodness knows what you're going to get on the channel, but just be warned, it's going to be a heck of a lot of nonsense. That's, you know, I don't want to say I'm going to spam the whole thing out, but you know, it's going to be a heck of a lot more than what you're used to getting on here whenever I'm normally going at a good upload schedule. So we're multiple uploads in the day. Guys, thank you for checking out the episode, and I will talk to you in the next one.